Imagine staring at your to-do list, feeling a sense of dread wash over you as you realize that you've been avoiding tasks that you know are vital for your success. It's a familiar feeling for many, but why does it happen? What lies beneath the surface of our inclination to procrastinate? To understand procrastination, we first need to recognize that it is not simply a matter of poor time management, but rather a complex interplay of psychological factors. Research shows that around 20% of adults are chronic procrastinators. This isn't just an inconvenience, it can lead to significant stress, decreased productivity, and a sense of failure. According to a study published in the journal Psychological Bulletin, procrastination is linked to various psychological issues including anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. When we procrastinate, we are often avoiding not just tasks, but also the uncomfortable feelings associated with them. Consider the story of Jenna, a university student who faced a looming deadline for her thesis. She had spent weeks gathering data and crafting outlines, yet when it came time to write, she found herself distracted by social media and Netflix. As the deadline approached, her anxiety skyrocketed. Jenna's experience is not uncommon. In fact, a study conducted at the University of Vermont found that students who procrastinate experience higher levels of stress and anxiety as deadlines loom closer. So why do we do this to ourselves? One reason is the temporal discounting phenomenon, where we value immediate pleasure over long-term satisfaction. Instead of focusing on the long-term benefits of completing a project, we gravitate towards activities that provide immediate gratification, like watching TV or scrolling through our phones. Studies suggest that procrastination often stems from fear of failure, fear of success, and fear of judgment. A survey conducted by psychologist Dr. Joseph Ferrari revealed that many procrastinators hold a belief that they work better under pressure. This belief feeds the cycle of avoidance, as they convince themselves that they will rise to the occasion. Yet, the reality is that the stress of last-minute work often undermines the quality of their output. Understanding the underlying reasons for procrastination is the first step in overcoming it. The next chapter delves into specific psychological triggers that contribute to this behavior and offers insight on how to confront them head-on. Now that we've established what procrastination is, let's dive deeper into the psychological mechanisms fueling this behavior. Procrastination can be viewed through various psychological lenses. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, emphasizes the connection between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When we procrastinate, it is often due to negative thoughts that create feelings of inadequacy, which in turn leads to avoidance behaviors. For instance, negative self-talk can spiral out of control when a task seems too daunting. Thoughts like "I'm not good enough" or "this is going to be too hard" often linger in the back of our minds, paralyzing us from taking action. This aligns with research from Dr. Timothy Pychyl, a leading expert on procrastination, who states that procrastinators often exhibit an emotional regulation problem. Instead of managing their emotions regarding tasks, they choose to escape. Let's explore the concept of fear of failure in more detail. Many of us may have been conditioned to view failure as something to be avoided at all costs, an idea that starts in childhood. Whether it's a poor grade in school or a failed sports tryout, these experiences can take root and flourish into a fear that holds us back as adults. Consider a professional who hesitates to submit a proposal because they fear it won't be good enough. Consequently, they stall their progress and miss potential opportunities for growth. A survey conducted by the American Psychological Association revealed that 70% of people report experiencing fear of failure in various aspects of their lives. This fear can manifest as procrastination. By avoiding the task altogether, the person feels temporarily relieved from the anxiety surrounding the possibility of failure. However, this relief is short-lived. As deadlines approach, anxiety returns, often with greater intensity. Another critical aspect of procrastination is perfectionism. Perfectionists often set unrealistically high standards, creating a fear of not measuring up. When the prospect of not meeting these standards arises, they might procrastinate as a coping mechanism. According to Dr. Fiona Lee, a clinical psychologist, perfectionism can lead to avoidance because individuals prefer to do nothing rather than risk submitting something they deem not perfect. In our next chapter, we will explore effective strategies to tackle procrastination, empowering you to break free from these psychological confines. Armed with an understanding of the psychological aspects of procrastination, it's time to shift gears and focus on actionable strategies to combat it. The road to overcoming procrastination begins with small, manageable steps. One effective method is the Pomodoro technique. Named after the Italian word for tomato, this approach involves breaking your work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. This technique not only helps in maintaining focus, but it also gives your brain the necessary respite it needs to recharge. By creating a structured timeline, individuals often find it easier to start tasks that otherwise feel overwhelming. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that participants who used the Pomodoro technique reported higher levels of productivity compared to those who didn't. Another useful strategy is to set clear, achievable goals. Goals can be daunting, especially if they are too vague or lofty. Instead, consider breaking them down into smaller, actionable steps. This is often referred to as chunking. For example, if your goal is to write a report, break it down into subtasks like researching, outlining, and drafting one section at a time. This approach can reduce anxiety and make the task feel less insurmountable. Additionally, visual reminders can play a crucial role in reducing procrastination. Keeping a visual cue, like photographs, motivational quotes, or a vision board, can provide constant inspiration and serve as a reminder of your goals. Research shows that visual stimuli can effectively trigger motivation and focus, leading to increased productivity. Let's not forget the power of accountability. Sharing your goals with a friend, family member, or coworker can create a sense of responsibility. A study from the Dominican University of California found that people who share their goals with others are 33% more likely to achieve them. The simple act of verbalizing your goals to someone else can create a commitment that pushes you to follow through. As we begin to implement these strategies, it's also essential to cultivate self-compassion. Many procrastinators tend to be self-critical, however, treating ourselves with kindness can create a healthier mindset. Instead of berating yourself for procrastinating, acknowledge the feelings at play and consider how you can approach tasks with a fresh perspective. In the next chapter, we'll examine real-life stories of individuals who have successfully conquered their procrastination habits, providing further insight into the application of these strategies. When theory meets practice, the outcomes can be inspiring. In this chapter, we will explore real-life stories of individuals who have successfully battled their procrastination, transforming their lives in the process. Take the example of Mark, a software developer who had always struggled with meeting project deadlines. He knew his work was important, yet he found himself constantly distracted by social media and online gaming. After recognizing that he needed a change, Mark began applying the Pomodoro technique. He set a timer for 25 minutes and focused solely on his coding during that interval. Mark found that not only did he accomplish more in those 25 minutes, but he also had the satisfaction of completing tasks without the weight of looming deadlines. Over time, this practice shifted his perception of work and enhanced his productivity. Another compelling story is that of Emma, a graduate student. Emma faced immense pressure to excel in her studies while also balancing a part-time job. She often found herself overwhelmed and put off studying until the last minute. Realizing she was caught in a destructive cycle, Emma sought help and began by setting specific and realistic study goals. She planned her study schedule around her work hours, chunking her material into manageable pieces. This helped her to feel less overwhelmed, and she discovered that she retained information better. Emma's grades improved, and she felt a renewed sense of confidence in her capabilities. Moreover, there's Jake, a writer who constantly faced writer's block due to his fear of not being perfect. After attending a workshop on creativity, he learned about free writing, a technique where he would write continuously for a set period without worrying about grammar or structure. This shift in mindset allowed him to produce content without the paralyzing fear of perfection. Ultimately, Jake produced his book, which went on to become a bestseller. These stories exemplify that overcoming procrastination is possible, and it often requires a combination of strategies and support systems. As we continue exploring solutions, we'll look closely at how to maintain momentum and avoid slipping back into old habits in the next chapter. After implementing strategies to combat procrastination, the next challenge often becomes sustainability, how to maintain that newfound momentum. It's easy to slip back into old habits, especially during stressful or challenging times. To combat this, we need a multifaceted approach that involves constant reflection and adaptation. One of the best practices for maintaining momentum is regularly reviewing and adjusting your goals. Schedule weekly or monthly check-ins with yourself. Assess what strategies are working and what might need tweaking. This self-reflection can help you stay on track and can also provide a sense of accomplishment as you see your progress. Another effective approach is to establish a routine that prioritizes productivity and positivity. Create a daily schedule that incorporates breaks and self-care. For instance, if you know you are more productive in the morning, tackle your most challenging tasks during that window. As you develop a routine, your body and mind will begin to adapt, creating a fluidity that makes it easier to remain engaged and focus on tasks. Emotional regulation is also crucial in sustaining progress. Being aware of emotional triggers that lead to procrastination can help you navigate challenges more effectively. If you find that certain tasks induce anxiety, implement techniques like mindfulness or deep breathing exercises before tackling them. This emotional management can make a significant difference in mitigating procrastination. Moreover, building a supportive environment can help. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire and motivate you. Whether it's a supportive friend group, colleagues who share your drive, or a mentor, a motivating environment can be a game changer. Consider joining groups or online communities that focus on personal development and goal achievement. Finally, celebrate your wins, regardless of how small they may seem. Acknowledging progress fuels motivation and reinforces positive behavior. By rewarding yourself for completing tasks, whether it's treating yourself to your favorite snack after finishing a project or enjoying a fun outing, you create a positive association with productivity. In our next chapter, we will explore more resources and tools that can assist you on your journey of combating procrastination for good. Have you ever noticed how your surroundings affect your productivity? Your environment plays a pivotal role in your ability to tackle tasks without delay. Scientists have found that a cluttered workspace can significantly hinder your focus, leading to procrastination. In fact, a study published in the journal Psychological Science revealed that individuals working in cluttered environments tend to feel more stressed and distracted, ultimately leading to procrastination. Consider the contrast: a clean, organized space often fosters a sense of calm and clarity. This is where the concept of environmental design comes in. By intentionally crafting spaces that promote productivity, you can reduce the urge to procrastinate. Think about it: how many times have you sat down to work but found yourself distracted by the mess around you? Or perhaps you've found that working in a coffee shop or library enhances your focus because of the ambience. Research shows that our environments can trigger behaviors and even thoughts. For example, if you work from home, turning your dining table into a makeshift office can create a mental association between eating and leisure rather than work. Instead, designate a specific area just for tasks. This can help signal to your brain that it's time to focus and eliminate the tendency to procrastinate. Additionally, consider the influence of social environments. Surrounding yourself with motivated, driven individuals can push you toward your goals. According to a study from the University of California, individuals who spend time with productive people tend to adopt similar habits and attitudes. If you're surrounded by procrastinators, resistance can build against your goals. One way to combat this is to create accountability groups. Engage with peers who inspire you, someone who shares similar productivity goals. They don't have to be in the same physical space. Virtual communities can also provide support and accountability. In this chapter, we'll delve into how to assess your environment critically. We'll explore strategies to declutter your space, optimize your workstations, and surround yourself with people who challenge you to be your best self. There's a powerful quote by Jim Rohn that perfectly encapsulates this idea: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. By being mindful of your surroundings and the company you keep, you can effectively overcome procrastination. Let's take a look at practical steps you can implement right away. Start by evaluating your workspace. Is it organized? How does it make you feel? These questions are pivotal for understanding your relationship with your environment. Next, think about your social circle and identify individuals who challenge you to be better. By making these crucial changes, you can create a powerful environment that fosters productivity and minimizes procrastination. As we conclude this chapter, remember, your environment shapes your behavior. Now, what changes will you implement to create a space that inspires action? Stay tuned as we explore a crucial aspect of procrastination that many overlook: the power of self-compassion. What if the answer to your procrastination lies in how you perceive yourself? Self-compassion, often overlooked in discussions of productivity, is a powerful tool in overcoming procrastination. Studies indicate that individuals who practice self-compassion are less likely to procrastinate. This is primarily due to the comforting understanding that they can forgive themselves for mistakes and setbacks. In moments of failure, many people can become overly critical, leading to shame and avoidance. But self-compassion offers a way out of this cycle. Research from Dr. Kristin Neff, a pioneer in the field, shows that self-compassionate people are more resilient. They approach their shortcomings with kindness rather than self-judgment. To illustrate this point, consider the story of a college student named Sarah. She struggled with procrastination and often found herself cramming for exams. Sarah was hard on herself, constantly berating herself for not studying earlier. However, after adopting a self-compassionate mindset, she began to treat herself as she would a friend. When she missed a study goal, instead of spiraling into despair, she would reflect on what went wrong with an empathetic heart, focusing on her learning rather than failures. This shift allowed her to tackle upcoming tasks more effectively. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our emotions without being dominated by them. According to Dr. Neff, self-compassion involves 3 key components: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Let's break these down. Self-kindness *, treat yourself with care during difficult times. Instead of chastising yourself for not starting a project, acknowledge that it's okay to struggle. Common humanity *, this reminds us that everyone struggles and faces challenges. You are not alone in your procrastination. It's a shared experience that many people encounter, and knowing this can alleviate feelings of isolation. Mindfulness *, this involves maintaining a balanced awareness of your emotions. Rather than over-identifying with feelings of failure, recognize them as fleeting and situational. Practical exercises can help enhance your self-compassionate mindset. Consider journaling about your experiences, noting moments where you were self-critical, then rewriting this narrative with kindness. Engage in meditation focused on loving kindness. These practices can bolster your emotional resilience, ultimately leading to decreased procrastination. As we wrap up this chapter, remember that self-compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about understanding your struggles and responding to them with kindness, enabling you to move forward constructively. If you can learn to be your own best friend, you'll find yourself equipped to tackle your tasks with renewed vigor. But what happens when self-compassion meets self-discipline? In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create a balance between the two, ensuring you stay on track without being overly harsh on yourself. How do we maintain the fine line between self-discipline and self-compassion? Both qualities are essential for a productive life, but finding the right balance can be challenging. When faced with procrastination, many people tend to swing too far in one direction, either being overly critical of themselves or too lenient, leading to underperformance. In order to find this balance, we must first understand the importance of self-discipline. Self-discipline is crucial for achieving long-term goals. It allows us to push through discomfort, focus on tasks, and ultimately complete what we set out to do. According to psychologist Angela Duckworth, self-discipline is often more significant than talent in predicting success. However, overemphasizing self-discipline can lead to burnout. It's essential to remember that we are not machines. We need emotional sustenance, especially when navigating challenging tasks. This is where self-compassion comes into play. Balancing these two forces enables us to be productive without sacrificing our mental well-being. Let's discuss practical strategies for achieving this balance. The first step involves setting realistic goals. Instead of aiming for perfection, establish attainable objectives that stretch your capabilities without overwhelming you. For instance, when tackling a large project, break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. Celebrate small wins. This fosters a sense of accomplishment and encourages forward momentum. Next, implement a structured routine. Creating a daily schedule allows you to allocate time for tasks while also allowing breaks for self-care. This structured approach can reduce anxiety and foster a sense of control over your workload. It's also crucial to practice self-reflection regularly. At the end of each week, take a moment to evaluate your progress. Ask yourself questions like, what worked? What didn't? Where did I show discipline, and where could I have been more compassionate? Through reflection, you can identify patterns in your behavior and adjust your approach accordingly. Finally, remember to be flexible with yourself. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes you need to adjust your plans. This flexibility can prevent feelings of guilt when circumstances change, allowing you to maintain both self-discipline and self-compassion. In closing, the relationship between self-discipline and self-compassion is not one of opposition but rather one of harmony. When you master this balance, the daunting concept of procrastination becomes less intimidating. So, how do you envision your unique blend of self-discipline and self-compassion moving forward? Let's shift gears and focus on creating a plan for long-term success and fulfillment in our final chapter. What does your long-term success plan look like? Having a clearly defined strategy can be a game changer when it comes to overcoming procrastination. It's essential to envision not just immediate outcomes but also where you want to be several years down the line. To create a successful plan, begin by identifying your core values and passions. What drives you? What are your ultimate goals? Understanding your intrinsic motivators will serve as the foundation for your long-term success. Once you've established your values, it's time to set specific goals. Utilize the SMART criteria, ensuring your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, set a timeline for completing your first draft, establish daily word count targets, and outline your writing process. By creating a structured layout, you can visualize your journey and avoid the pitfalls of procrastination. Next, develop an action plan with milestones. Breaking your larger goals into smaller, achievable milestones gives you a sense of direction. Marking off milestones as you achieve them provides motivation and reinforces the habit of taking action. Research from the Dominican University of California found that individuals who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Accountability is another critical factor. Consider seeking out an accountability partner or joining a group that aligns with your goals. Share your ambitions and progress updates with them. This external motivation can serve as a stronger push to stay on track. Finally, be prepared to iterate on your plan. Life is dynamic, and it's normal for goals to evolve. Regularly reassess your objectives and make adjustments as needed. Avoid rigidly sticking to a plan that no longer resonates with you or suits your evolving aspirations. As we conclude our exploration of designing a long-term success plan, think about where you envision yourself in the next 5 years. What steps will you take today to ensure you're moving toward that future? Now, as we transition into our closing thoughts, let's reflect on how the lessons learned throughout this documentary can impact not just your productivity, but your overall quality of life. As our journey comes to a close, let's reflect on the transformative power of overcoming procrastination. What if, rather than viewing time as an enemy, you perceived it as an ally in your quest for success? By altering your perception of time and productivity, you can significantly change your approach to life. Throughout this documentary, we have explored the intricacies of procrastination. From understanding its psychological roots to developing practical strategies and learning to balance self-discipline with self-compassion, each lesson builds toward a central message: you have the power to change your relationship with procrastination. Consider the profound quote by Tony Robbins: "The path to success is to take massive, determined action." It echoes beautifully with the themes of responsibility and action we've discussed. In a world that constantly distracts us, taking determined action becomes our strongest weapon against procrastination. As you move forward, remember to embrace the small steps. Growth doesn't happen overnight, it's a journey of many deliberate actions. Celebrate each victory, no matter how minor, and learn from setbacks without self-judgment. This will allow you to cultivate an enduring spirit of resilience. Think back to our discussions about environment and self-compassion. The importance of your surroundings cannot be underestimated. Optimize your spaces for productivity, and foster connections with individuals who uplift and encourage you. As we close, I urge you to craft your own unique path toward success, one defined by clarity, kindness, and determination. The lessons learned from overcoming procrastination are not merely strategies, they are life-changing philosophies. Embrace them, and you'll find the power to shift your mindset and embrace your potential. So ask yourself, how will you make today count? With practice and dedication, the narrative of your life can transcend procrastination, leading to a fulfilling and accomplished future. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey of understanding and overcoming procrastination. Now, go out there and take action. Your future self will thank you. Decision-making is a fundamental aspect of our lives. Yet, it is intimately tied to procrastination. At the core of procrastination often lies the struggle with making decisions. Whether it's choosing which project to start or deciding how to allocate our time, the fear of making the wrong decision can lead to inaction. Research indicates that decision-making is greatly affected by various cognitive biases. One notable bias is the status quo bias, which suggests that people prefer things to remain the same rather than change. This can make it difficult for individuals to commit to a plan or a task. For instance, consider someone who has a big presentation due next week. Rather than starting the work, they might choose to continue their routine, avoiding the anxiety of making decisions about what to include in their presentation. Similarly, the overwhelm effect can further complicate decision-making. A person faced with too many choices might feel paralyzed, leading to procrastination. In a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research, it was found that individuals presented with 5 options were more likely to make a decision than those presented with 25 options. This highlights how clarity in decision-making can lead to action, whereas ambiguity often leads to avoidance. In this context, understanding the mechanics of decision-making is crucial for overcoming procrastination. One effective strategy is the concept of chunking decisions into smaller, manageable units. Instead of tackling an entire project at once, break it down into subtasks. For example, if you need to write a report, set a goal to write just one section a day. This makes the process less daunting and provides a clearer path forward. Additionally, the 2-minute rule, popularized by productivity expert David Allen, can be incredibly helpful. The principle is simple: if a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This not only helps in chipping away at smaller tasks but also builds momentum. Imagine you receive an email that requires a quick response. Instead of saying to yourself, "I'll respond later," you take those 2 minutes to write a quick reply. Over time, these small wins can significantly reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed by a larger workload. Moreover, creating a decisive environment can influence our ability to make choices and reduce procrastination. This means organizing your workspace to minimize distractions, making tools and resources easily accessible, and setting clear deadlines. A study by the American Psychological Association found that the physical organization of a workspace directly affects mental organization. In simple terms, a clutter-free space leads to a clutter-free mind. Ultimately, understanding the science of decision-making provides a dual benefit. It helps clarify our objectives and simultaneously combats the underlying causes of procrastination. The next time you find yourself stalling on a task, reflect on the decisions that accompany it. Are you overwhelmed? Are you fearing the consequences of a wrong choice? Tackling these fears head-on can lead to meaningful action. Yet, many still find themselves trapped in a cycle of inaction due to unclear goals. This brings us to our next chapter: how clarifying your objectives can help cut through the fog of procrastination. Accountability can serve as a powerful antidote to procrastination, transforming vague intentions into tangible outcomes. At its core, accountability involves a responsibility to oneself and others. When we announce our goals or deadlines to others, we create a layer of social pressure that can motivate us to act. Consider a classic experiment conducted by researchers from the University of Scranton, which found that people who shared their goals with others were 33% more likely to succeed. The act of verbalizing our intentions not only solidifies our commitment but also makes it harder for us to backtrack. For example, think of two friends who decide to embark on a fitness journey together. They schedule regular check-ins, where they discuss their progress, share setbacks, and celebrate victories. This accountability incentivizes both individuals to show up for their workouts, knowing they'll have to report back to each other. Such social systems can create a sense of obligation that propels them forward, diluting procrastination's grip. Another effective method of fostering accountability is through productivity groups or workshops. These environments provide an infrastructure that discourages procrastination. In a co-working space or a virtual accountability group, members share their goals and progress, creating a community of support. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology revealed that participants who engaged in group accountability were significantly more productive than those working alone. Additionally, leveraging technology for accountability can be highly effective. Numerous apps are designed specifically to help individuals track their progress. Apps like StickK allow users to set goals and create financial stakes for failing to meet them, while platforms like Forest encourage focus by gamifying work sessions. When we have tangible systems in place to hold ourselves accountable, the likelihood of procrastination diminishes. However, technology isn't a silver bullet; it requires a disciplined mindset to work effectively. Now, let's explore the transformative potential of external accountability partners. Seeking out a mentor or coach can significantly aid in overcoming procrastination. A mentor can provide guidance, feedback, and encouragement, which can foster a sense of accountability. For example, a mentor might help an aspiring author set a timeline for completing chapters, ensuring the writer maintains a steady pace. This structured interaction ultimately empowers individuals to combat procrastination through sustained support. Moreover, the concept of accountability extends beyond interpersonal relationships; it also includes self-accountability. Techniques like journaling can enhance self-awareness, providing a record of our goals and achievements. By reflecting on our daily habits and practices, we can identify patterns of procrastination and strategize on how to overcome them. In essence, harnessing accountability, whether through social connections, technology, or self-reflection, can cultivate a proactive mindset, allowing individuals to manage their time effectively and combat procrastination. But what happens when accountability wanes or when we face setbacks? This leads us to our next chapter, where we will explore the significance of resilience in overcoming procrastination. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, and it plays a crucial role in overcoming procrastination. It's easy to view procrastination as a failure, but developing resilience allows us to reframe setbacks as learning experiences rather than roadblocks. Psychologists define resilience as the ability to adapt and bounce back from adversity. This trait is especially important when we confront the inevitable challenges that arise during our quest for productivity. To illustrate this concept, let's consider Thomas Edison. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His resilience through repeated failures led to monumental breakthroughs, such as the invention of the light bulb. Each failed attempt brought him one step closer to success, teaching us that setbacks can be stepping stones toward achievement. Similarly, developing a resilient mindset allows individuals to confront their procrastination head-on. When faced with a daunting task, rather than succumbing to avoidance, resilient people view the challenge as an opportunity for growth. For example, let's say someone is struggling to write a book. Every time they sit down to write, they feel overwhelmed and procrastinate. Instead of viewing this as a failure, a resilient writer might ask themselves, "What can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my approach?" This perspective shift not only encourages action but also fosters a sense of control over the situation. Research indicates that individuals who practice resilience tend to have better coping mechanisms, lower stress levels, and greater overall success. A report from the American Psychological Association found that resilient individuals are more capable of managing their time effectively, which directly correlates with reducing procrastination. Building resilience involves cultivating a growth mindset, wherein individuals believe that their abilities can improve through dedication and hard work. This concept, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, suggests that rather than viewing intelligence as fixed, we should embrace challenges and learn from failures. By adopting this mindset, we can reframe our approach to tasks that may cause procrastination. Additionally, resilience can be strengthened through mindfulness and self-care practices. Mindfulness teaches us to remain present, enabling us to navigate stressors without succumbing to avoidance. Regular habits like meditation, exercise, and journaling not only foster emotional balance but also equip us with tools to handle procrastination. For example, taking a few moments each day to meditate can clarify our thoughts and priorities, making it easier to tackle tasks head-on. Finally, it's essential to remember that building resilience is a continuous process. It requires practice, patience, and self-compassion. Each time we confront procrastination, we have an opportunity to strengthen this foundational trait. As we develop resilience, we're better equipped to face future challenges, making procrastination less of a stumbling block and more of an opportunity for growth and learning. In conclusion, resilience is the backbone of overcoming procrastination. It empowers us to approach tasks with a fresh perspective, turning setbacks into stepping stones. With this newfound strength, we can better navigate the landscape of productivity. As we round out our exploration of procrastination, let's reflect on how we can integrate all these strategies into a cohesive approach to mastering our time. In our fast-paced world, where distractions lurk at every corner, procrastination can feel like an inevitable companion. But what if the secret to overcoming it lies in the ancient practice of mindfulness? Mindfulness, the art of being present in the moment, can radically transform our relationship with tasks we tend to avoid. Research suggests that practicing mindfulness can increase focus, reduce anxiety, and elevate overall productivity. A notable study from the University of California found that individuals who engaged in mindfulness exercises showed a significant decrease in procrastination levels. Imagine waking up each day, free from the heavy weight of unfinished tasks looming over you. Mindfulness teaches us to engage with our thoughts and feelings without judgment, creating space for clarity and focus. This journey begins with understanding how our minds work in moments of procrastination. Often, we delay tasks due to a fear of failure, which can be exacerbated by our inner critic, a voice that tells us we are not good enough. But through mindfulness, we learn to observe this inner dialogue without getting swept away by it. By simply acknowledging these thoughts, we can create a gap between our feelings and actions. A powerful technique to harness mindfulness is the 5 senses exercise. This practice invites you to connect with your present environment through your senses. Take a moment to notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. By focusing on the present, you shift your mental state from one of avoidance to one of engagement. Another useful strategy is the Pomodoro technique, which breaks work into intervals, typically 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. This technique, enhanced by mindfulness, allows you to work with intention, recognizing when distractions might occur and gently guiding your focus back. Mindfulness not only aids in reducing procrastination but helps cultivate a sense of peace in completing tasks. It's about creating a new narrative, a story where you are in control, where completing tasks is not a burden but an act of self-care. As you embrace mindfulness, you'll find a profound shift within yourself, a deeper awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and motivations. Suddenly, those daunting tasks transform into opportunities for growth and clarity. But the journey does not stop here. There are many other tools we can explore to further strengthen our resolve against procrastination. Goal setting is not just a buzzword. It's a powerful tool that can radically shape your journey in overcoming procrastination. But what does effective goal setting actually look like? At the heart of it lies the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Research conducted by Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University revealed that individuals who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. This statistic underscores the importance of clarity in your aspirations. For instance, rather than setting a vague goal like "I want to get fit," a SMART goal would be "I will run 3 times a week for 30 minutes each time." This level of specificity makes it far easier to monitor progress and remain motivated. Additionally, breaking larger goals into smaller, bite-sized chunks can drastically reduce feelings of overwhelm, a common trigger for procrastination. For example, if your goal is to write a book, envision each chapter as a separate milestone. Start with a commitment to write just 500 words a day. This climbing of small steps can lead to monumental achievements over time. Another essential aspect of goal setting is the power of deadlines. While self-imposed deadlines may lack the weight of external accountability, they can still foster urgency. Consider using visualization techniques. Picture yourself at the finish line of your goals. How does it feel? Creating these mental images can bolster your motivation and keep you focused on the journey ahead. Along with visualization, sharing your goals with friends or family can create layers of accountability, making you less likely to retreat into procrastination. Also, don't forget to celebrate achievements, no matter how small. Celebrating milestones not only reinforces positive behaviors but stokes the fire of motivation within you. As you set forth on your goal-setting adventure, remember that flexibility is key. Sometimes, life throws curveballs, and your goals may need to evolve. Staying adaptable and open-minded can help you pivot without feeling discouraged. This is how true resilience is built, by learning to navigate setbacks with grace and determination. As we dive deeper into the next chapter, we will uncover another essential component: how our thoughts and beliefs shape our ability to overcome procrastination. Fear of failure is a significant underlying factor contributing to procrastination. But what exactly fuels this fear? For many, the dread of not meeting expectations, whether self-imposed or societal, can be paralyzing. A study published in the journal Psychological Bulletin highlights that this fear is deeply rooted in our desire for approval and success. When we link our self-worth to our accomplishments, even the thought of failing can be enough to halt us in our tracks. This leads to a vicious cycle. The more we procrastinate, the more anxious we feel, which in turn increases our fear of failure. Consider the story of Sarah, a graduate student who struggled to complete her thesis. The thought of her work not being good enough led her to delay writing altogether. It wasn't until she sought support from a mentor that she discovered a new way to view her work, not as a reflection of her worth, but as a journey of learning. By reframing her perspective, Sarah was able to break free from the oppressive cycle of procrastination. Another effective approach to combat this fear is through cognitive restructuring, a technique used in cognitive behavioral therapy. This involves identifying negative thought patterns and replacing them with more positive, constructive beliefs. For instance, instead of thinking, "If I fail at this project, I'll be seen as a failure," one might reframe it to, "Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow." This shift in mindset not only reduces the grip of fear but also fosters resilience. Moreover, facing small challenges gradually can build your confidence over time. Begin with something manageable that carries a low risk, and gradually increase the level of difficulty. Celebrate these small wins. They reinforce your capacity to succeed, diminishing that looming fear of failure. As we begin to recognize and address the fear of failure, we slowly dismantle its hold on our lives. The next chapter dives deeper into the importance of self-reflection and its crucial role in overcoming procrastination. When we think about procrastination, we often view it as a failure of willpower. But what if that's too simplistic? The reality is, procrastination is much more complex, rooted deeply in our decision-making processes. Every choice we make, from the smallest to the most significant, can affect our productivity levels dramatically. In this chapter, we'll delve into the psychology of decision-making and explore how it links to procrastination. Research has found that decision-making is heavily influenced by our emotional states. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology highlighted that individuals under stress tend to make more impulsive decisions. This impulsivity can lead to avoidance, further feeding the cycle of procrastination. Furthermore, a team of researchers at the University of Pennsylvania discovered a direct connection between anxiety and procrastination behaviors. They found that individuals who experience higher levels of anxiety often delay tasks due to fear of negative evaluation or self-doubt. To understand procrastination, we must examine how we make decisions. For instance, when faced with an overwhelming task, our brains weigh the potential costs of action against the comfort of remaining inactive. The discomfort of starting a challenging task can seem more daunting than the guilt of procrastination. This skewed reasoning can lead to a decision to do nothing, reinforcing procrastination. But it's not just anxiety driving procrastination, decision fatigue plays a significant role too. The term decision fatigue describes the depleted state that can occur after making numerous choices throughout the day. Studies indicate that when people reach their limit of making decisions, they often favor the easiest option available, which often is doing nothing at all. Researchers at the University of Florida found that individuals with high levels of decision fatigue were more inclined to procrastinate, choosing leisure activities over productive tasks. A practical solution to combat decision fatigue is to streamline your choices. By simplifying your decision-making process, you reduce the mental burden. For example, leaders like Barack Obama and Steve Jobs adopted a uniform style of clothing to eliminate trivial decisions, allowing them to focus on more significant issues. Building routines can also help, establishing habits that reduce the need for constant decision-making. By creating an environment where the decision to work is the default, we can overcome the paralyzing nature of decision-making. Another way to counteract procrastination is to reframe your perception of tasks. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, emphasizes changing how we perceive challenges. This method involves recognizing irrational thoughts, like the belief that failing to complete a task perfectly equates to failure overall. By breaking down tasks into manageable portions and celebrating small victories, we can alleviate the pressure and guilt associated with larger projects. Every day, we make decisions that can either set us up for success or trap us in procrastination. The key lies in understanding our emotional triggers and establishing a decision-making process that prioritizes action over avoidance. So, as we strive to overcome procrastination, let's focus on refining the way we make decisions, breaking the cycle of avoidance and moving towards productive engagement. But what happens when we introduce the element of accountability into our decision-making process? Stay tuned as we explore how accountability can change the game. Imagine this: you have a big project due, but instead of diving into it alone, you share your goals with a friend or colleague. This simple act of sharing can create a whole new layer of motivation. This is the core of accountability. In this chapter, we will explore how accountability influences productivity and can help you overcome procrastination. Research has consistently shown that accountability increases the likelihood of task completion. A study published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine found that individuals who commit to their goals publicly are significantly more likely to achieve them. But why does this work? The answer lies in our social nature. Humans are inherently motivated by the desire to connect and meet expectations set by others. When you know someone is watching or waiting for your progress, the stakes feel higher. This external pressure can push us past the procrastination barrier. Consider the story of a writer who, after years of procrastination, decided to join a writers' group. Sharing deadlines and celebrating each other's successes transformed their writing journey, leading to the publication of their first book. Accountability provided the structure and encouragement they desperately needed. But accountability doesn't just come from external sources. Self-accountability can be powerful too. This means setting personal commitments and monitoring your own progress. One strategy is to establish a commitment contract, where you outline tasks and the consequences of not completing them. A famous example is that of a professional gambler who vowed to donate a significant sum to a charity if they did not meet their goals. The motivation to avoid donating the money helped them stick to their commitments. In workplaces, fostering a culture of accountability can enhance productivity across the board. Companies that emphasize teamwork and encourage employees to hold one another accountable see higher levels of performance. The buddy system is one effective method where employees pair up to encourage and check in on each other's productivity. This not only nurtures responsibility but also builds a supportive community, making the work environment more enjoyable. Furthermore, accountability works differently for everyone, and that's okay. Some thrive under public scrutiny, while others prefer keeping accountability intimate. Understanding your own needs can help you find the right balance. Experiment with different forms of accountability, join a group, partner with a friend, or keep a journal. Each method has its benefits, and discovering what works best for you can be transformative. As we move forward, let's reflect on how we can leverage the power of accountability in our lives. What are the goals you want to achieve? Who can you share them with? Together, we can create an environment that empowers us to break free from procrastination. In the next chapter, we'll uncover how building resilience can fortify us against the tendencies that draw us into procrastination. Stay tuned as we explore how you can cultivate inner strength and maintain focus. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about growing stronger through challenges. When it comes to procrastination, building resilience means developing the ability to face challenges head-on rather than avoiding them. In this chapter, we'll explore how fostering resilience can lead to a profound transformation in how we approach procrastination. Resilience can be defined as the capacity to recover from difficulties and adapt to change. Studies show that resilient individuals are better equipped to manage stress, maintain motivation, and ultimately, overcome procrastination. One foundational aspect of resilience is having a growth mindset, as popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. Those with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for learning rather than as threats. This perspective not only reduces the fear of failure but also creates a willingness to take risks and embrace discomfort. Let's look at the story of Thomas Edison, who despite facing numerous setbacks, continued to pursue his vision of the light bulb. Instead of succumbing to failure, he viewed each attempt as a step closer to success. His resilience allowed him to overcome the challenges that would have stopped many others in their tracks. Applying this mindset to our lives means reframing our interactions with tasks. Instead of fearing failure, we can learn from it. Another crucial component of resilience is emotional regulation, managing our emotions effectively, particularly in the face of setbacks. Research published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology indicates that individuals who can regulate their emotions are less likely to procrastinate. Techniques such as mindfulness and deep breathing exercises can help develop emotional regulation skills. When faced with a daunting task, taking a moment to breathe and clear the mind can make a significant difference. Moreover, building a robust support system enhances resilience. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences can foster motivation and support in overcoming procrastination. This doesn't just mean friends and family. It can also involve mentors or support groups who understand your challenges and can offer guidance. A strong support network can not only encourage productivity but also provide accountability. Lastly, setting realistic and achievable goals is vital for building resilience. The SMART goal framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, provides a robust structure for goal setting. By breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable steps, we prevent ourselves from feeling overwhelmed and increase the likelihood of success. Each small achievement becomes a confidence booster, reinforcing our ability to tackle even bigger challenges. As we explore the concept of resilience, think about the challenges you face in your daily life. Consider how fostering resilience can help you meet these challenges head-on, transforming your relationship with procrastination. In the next chapter, we will shift gears and look at how harnessing the power of mindfulness can lead to profound change in our approach to productivity. Get ready to uncover the transformative effects of mindfulness on procrastination. Procrastination is not merely a modern phenomenon. Throughout history, people have struggled with delaying tasks and important decisions. Ancient civilizations, like the Greeks and Romans, documented their challenges with procrastination, attributing it to the human condition. Philosophers such as Socrates and Aristotle spoke of akrasia, the state of acting against one's better judgment. Socrates believed that people fail to act due to a lack of self-knowledge and understanding. As we delve deeper into the evolution of procrastination, it becomes clear that our relationship with time and productivity has shifted dramatically. The invention of the clock in the 14th century, for instance, altered how we perceive and manage time. This transformation laid the groundwork for our current struggles with procrastination, as the rigid measurement of time began to dictate our daily lives. Fast forward to the 21st century, where distractions are plentiful. With the rise of technology, the average person's attention span has decreased significantly. In fact, research shows that our ability to focus has diminished by roughly 25% over the last few decades. This chapter will explore historical cases of procrastination, including notable figures who struggled with it. For instance,